I trusted my best friend with everything. She knew the parts of my life no one else did. The things I didn't even tell my own family. And my husband? I trusted him too. Completely. I believed we had something stable. Something real. The kind of marriage that don't fall apart overnight. So when she called me that night, crying, saying she had nowhere to go, I didn't hesitate. I told her to come stay with us. In my home. With my husband. Because to me, she wasn't just a friend. She was family. But looking back now, that was the moment everything started to change. Not suddenly. Not obviously. Just quietly. Slowly. In ways I didn't notice at first. Because the truth is, nothing ever feels wrong at the beginning. It feels normal. Safe. Even right. Until one day, you see something you can't unsee. And in that moment, everything connects. Everything makes sense. And everything falls apart. I trusted my best friend. I trusted my husband. And I never imagined the two people I trusted the most would be the reason I lost everything. Because I didn't just lose a friendship. I didn't just lose a marriage. I lost something much harder to rebuild. Trust itself. And the worst part? It didn't happen all at once. It happened right in front of me. Day by day. Moment by moment. Until the day I walked into my bedroom. And found her, in my bed. My name is Olivia. I'm 31 years old. And until recently, I truly believed I had a stable life. Not perfect. Not something they show off online. But real. Predictable. Safe. I've been married to Jason for 5 years. We met through mutual friends. Nothing dramatic. No instant spark. But over time, it became someone I could rely on. It wasn't overly emotional. Didn't say much. Didn't make big gestures. But he was consistent. And back then, that consistency felt like trust. We built our life slowly. A small apartment at first. Then a better place. Weekend routines. Quiet dinners. Simple conversations. There wasn't a lot of excitement. But there was stability. And I told myself, that's what mattered. That's what lasts. Jason had his habits. He liked things a certain way. Didn't like change. Didn't like unnecessary drama. And I respected that. Because I wasn't looking for chaos. He was looking for something that felt secure. And for a long time, that's exactly what I thought I had. Then there was Megan. My best friend. We had known each other for over 10 years. College. First hopes. Breakups. Family problems. She was there for all of it. And so was I. We weren't just close. We were involved in each other's lives. Every detail. Every decision. Every moment that mattered. She was the first person I called, before anyone else. Even before Jason, sometimes. And he knew that. He understood how important she was to me. At least. He thought he did. Megan was different from me. More expressive. More emotional. More spontaneous. She felt things deeply. Reacted quickly. And sometimes, that got her into trouble. Relationships that didn't last. Decisions she later regretted. But that was just who she was. And I never judged her for it. If anything, I felt responsible for her. Like I needed to be the stable one. The one she could come to when things fell apart. And she did. More than once. She would call late at night. Crying. Upset. Needing someone to listen. And I always picked up. Always. Because that's what we were. Or at least, that's what I believed we were. Jason didn't they have the same kind of relationship with her? At first, they were polite, friendly, but distant. Just enough to be comfortable. Nothing more. No long conversations. No real connection. And that made sense to me. Because she was my friend, not his. But over time, that distance started to change. Not all at once. Not in a way that felt obvious. Just small shifts. Subtle. Easy to ignore. I started asking about her more. How's Megan doing? Is she okay? At first, I thought it was just concern. Normal. Respectful. The kind of thing a good husband does. And I appreciated it. Because it felt like he cared about the people I cared about. But looking back now, that's where it started. Not the betrayal. Not the affair. Just attention. And attention, when it's repeated enough, turns into something else. Something you don't recognize right away. Around that time, Megan started going through another breakup. This one was worse than the others. She sounded different on the phone. More fragile. More lost. And when she called me that night, her voice shaking, saying she had nowhere to go, I didn't hesitate. Not for a second. Come here, I told her. You can stay with us. It felt like the right thing to do. The obvious thing. The only thing. Because she wasn't just a friend. She was someone I trusted completely. Someone I would never question. And when I told Jason, I didn't argue. I didn't ask many questions. I just nodded and said, if that's what you want. Simply. Calm. Supportive. At last. That's how I interpreted it. So she moved in, brought her things. Took the guest room. And just like that, our lives changed. But not in a way I noticed immediately. Not in a way that felt wrong. Because at the beginning, everything still looked the same. The same house. The same routines. The same people. Just one more person added. Someone I trusted. Someone I believed would never cross a line. And that belief, that complete, unquestioned trust, that was the foundation of everything. And I didn't realize it at the time. But that foundation was already starting to crack. At first, nothing felt wrong. That's the part one keep going back to. Because if something had felt off right away, I would be noticed. I would be questioned it. I would be stopped it. But it didn't feel wrong. It felt normal. Even right. Megan moved into the guest room. We gave her space. Told her to take her time. No pressure. No expectations. Just stay. Recover. Figure things out. And in the beginning, that's exactly what it looked like. She was quiet. More than usual. I spent time alone. On her phone. Or just lying in bed. Trying to process whatever she had gone through. And I was there for her. Checking in, bringing her food. Sitting with her when she needed to talk. Listening. Because that's what I had always done. That's what I thought she needed. Jason kept his distance at first. Polite. Respectful. I'd say hello. Ask if she was okay. But nothing more than that. And again, that made sense. It felt appropriate. Balanced. Like everyone understood their place. Our routine adjusted slightly. 3 people instead of 2. Dinner together sometimes. Other nights, just Jason and me. Occasionally, all of us sitting in the living room. Watching something. Talking. Letting the silence fill the gaps. And those moments. They felt comfortable. Not forced. Not awkward. Just easy. Like we had settled into a new version of normal. But slowly, very slowly, that balance started to shift. Not in a way you could point at. Not in a way that made you stop and say, something's wrong. More like a series of small changes that didn't they seem important on their own, but together they meant something. You just didn't they see it yet. Jason started coming home earlier. At first, I thought it was coincidence. Work schedules change. Things happen. But it became consistent. Earlier than usual. More often. And when he came home, he didn't they go straight to our room. He stayed in the living room, where Megan was. Talking. Sitting. Sometimes laughing. Not loudly. Not obviously. Just enough. Enough to create a rhythm between them. A pattern. He noticed it. Of course I did. But I didn't question it. Because I told myself, it's just being nice. Sis going through something. This is normal. And when you repeat those explanations enough, they start to feel true. Even when they're not. Megan changed too. Not dramatically. Not in a way that felt suspicious. Just lighter. More engaged. She started coming out of her room more. Spending more time in shared spaces. Talking more. Laughing more. And most of that was with Jason. At first, I was relieved. He thought she was getting better. That she was moving on. Healing. But then I started noticing something else. Something harder to explain. The way their conversations flowed. Naturally. Effortlessly. Like they didn't need to think about what to say. Like they were already comfortable. Though comfortable. They developed small habits. In see the jokes. References I didn't they always understand. Moments where they'd look at each other and laugh before saying anything. And I would be there. Sitting right next to them. But somehow. Not part of it. It wasn't the exclusion. Not directly. No one ignored me. No one shut me out. But there was a shift. Subtle. Quiet. But real. Like something existed between them, that I wasn't included in that feeling. It stayed. Even when I tried to ignore it. There was one night that stands out. We were all sitting together. Watching something on TV, nothing important. Just background noise. Megan was on one side of the couch. He was in the middle. Jason on the other side. At some point, he got up to grab something from the kitchen. It took less than a minute. Maybe 30 seconds. But when I came back, something felt different. They were sitting closer. Not touching. Not obviously. But closer than before. And when I walked in, they moved. Just slightly. Enough to reset the space. Enough to make it look normal again. And if I hadn't been paying attention, I wouldn't have noticed. But I did. And that moment stayed with me. Not because it proved anything. But because it felt intentional. Like something had just happened. And I wasn't supposed to see it. Still. He didn't say anything. He didn't ask. He didn't confront. Because I didn't want to be that person. The one who overreacts. The one who creates problems out of nothing. So I stayed quiet. And told myself, you're overthinking. They're just getting along. This is a good thing. Because the alternative, the possibility that something wasn't right, that was something I wasn't ready to face. Not yet. And that's how it happens. Not with one big moment. Not with one clear sign. But with small things. Repeated. Ignored. Explained away. Until one day, you look back. And realize they were never small at all. After that, he started noticing more. Not because I wanted to. But because I couldn't ignore it anymore. It wasn't the one big moment. It was a pattern. And once you see a pattern, everything changes. Kyasun wasn't just coming home early anymore. It was staying out of our routine. Before it, we had a rhythm. Dinner together. Talking about the day. Small things. Nothing special. But consistent. Now, that rhythm was gone. They come home, sit in the living room. Talk to Megan. And by the time I joined them, the conversation was already happening. Already flowing. Like I had walked into something that had started without me. And every time, there was that pause. That half-second silence. That shift. Then everything would go back to normal. So quickly. So smoothly. Hey. You're right back. Yeah, we were just talking. Always the same. Always simply. Always enough to avoid questions. But not enough to remove doubt. Then there was his phone. It changed. Sadly. But clearly. I used to leave it anywhere. Table. Counter. Next to me. Unlocked sometimes. Not a big deal. Now. It was always with him. Always face down. Always within reach. And if a notification came in, I'd check it immediately. Not aggressively. Not suspiciously obvious. Just. Control. Careful. And that kind of careful, it didn't come from nowhere. Megan had her changes too. But hers were different. She wasn't distant. She was more present. More involved. More comfortable. In a way that didn't match the situation. She had just gone through a breakup. She should have been withdrawn. Recovering. Figuring things out. But instead, she was settling in too well. So quickly. She started moving around the house like she belonged there. Not as a guest. Not even as a visitor. But like someone who understood the space. The timing. The routine. And more importantly, Jason. She knew when he got home. She knew when he was free. She knew when to start a conversation. And those conversations, they feel new. They felt familiar. Like they had been happening longer than I realized. There was one detail I couldn't ignore anymore. The timing of their interactions. It started small. They come home, they come out of her room. Almost immediately. Not always. But often enough. Too often to be random. And once you notice timing like that, you start asking questions. Even if you don't say them out loud. How does she know he's home? Why is she always there when he is? Why does it feel expected? But I didn't ask those questions. Not directly. Because I still didn't have proof. And without proof, you hesitate. You doubt yourself. You tell yourself you're imagining things. That it's all coincidence. That you're reading too much into it. But deep down, you know. There was another moment. Simply. But clear. He was in the kitchen. Megan was sitting at the table. Kyasun walked in. She looked up and smiled. Not a casual smile. Not a polite one. Something else. Something softer. More personal. And he smiled back. Just as naturally. Just as easily. Like it was automatic. Like it had happened 100 times before. And maybe it had. He just hadn't seen it. Or maybe he hadn't wanted to see it. Because once you acknowledge something like that, you can't go back. You can't unsee it. You can't pretend everything is fine. And I wasn't ready for that. Not yet. So I stayed quiet. Watched more. Paid attention. To details. To patterns. To moments that didn't make sense. And the more I watched, the clearer it became. This wasn't just friendliness. This wasn't just comfort. This was something else. Something forming. Something growing. Right in front of me. And the worst part? Neither of them seemed worried. Neither of them seemed careful enough. Which meant one thing. Whatever was happening had already been happening long enough that they felt safe. Safe enough to stop hiding it completely. Safe enough to act normal. Even when I was right there. And that realization, it hit differently. Because it meant he wasn't just missing something. He had been missing it for a while. And by the time I finally saw it, it was already too late. Because this wasn't the beginning. This was already somewhere in the middle. And I was the only one. Just starting to catch up. After that, I couldn't see it. It didn't matter how much I tried to go back to normal. To ignore it. To explain it away. Once something shifts in your mind, everything changes. The way you look at people. The way you hear their words. The way you notice silence. And suddenly, nothing feels simple anymore. He started paying attention without meaning to. Not in an obvious way. Not like I was trying to catch them. But enough to notice what didn't align. Jason's behavior didn't just change at home. It changed everywhere. He became less present with me. We would be sitting together, and he'd say something. And they respond late. Like he was somewhere else. Thinking about something else. Or someone else. At first, I thought it was stress. Work. Life. But it didn't feel like stress. It felt like distance. A quiet kind of distance. The kind that doesn't announce itself. That grows slowly. Until you realize it's there. And Megan, she was the opposite. More engaged. More talkative. More alive. But not with me. With him. She would laugh at things he said, even when they weren't that funny. She would ask him questions about things she never cared about before. His work. His opinions. His routines. And he responded. Easily. Comfortably. Like those conversations mattered. More than ours did. That comparison, I didn't want to make it. But it was there. And once you feel that shift, you can't ignore it. There were moments that didn't make sense. Small ones. But clear. Like how Jason started knowing things about Megan, before I told him. Details. Updates. Things she had only mentioned to me. Or. At least. That's what I thought. And when I asked casually, how did you know that? They just say, she mentioned it. Simply. Quick. Enough to end the conversation. But not enough to feel right. Then there was the timing again. It kept repeating. Patterns becoming clearer. More consistent. More obvious. There were nights when he'd be in the bedroom. And I could hear them talking. In the living room. Soft. Relaxed. Comfortable. And sometimes, when I walked out, the conversation would stop. Not completely. Just shift. Change tone. Change direction. Like they were adjusting. Not because they had to. But because they wanted to. And that difference, it matters. Because when people are hiding something, they don't stop completely. They adapt. Just enough. To stay unnoticed. But by now, he was noticing. Everything. There was one moment that changed something inside me. Not completely. But enough. We were all sitting together. Dinner. Nothing special. Just a normal night. Megan was telling a story. Jason was listening. Really listening. Focused. Engaged. More than I had seen him in a while. And at one point, she said something. I don't even remember what. But he laughed. And reached out, just slightly. Not a full gesture. Not something obvious. But his hand brushed against hers. And neither of them reacted. They didn't they pull away immediately. Didn't they acknowledge it. Didn't they even look at each other. It just happened. And stayed for a second too long. Then it was gone. Like nothing happened. But I saw it. And in that moment, something shifted inside me. Because that wasn't accidental. That wasn't random. That was comfort. Familiarity. Something that had already crossed the line, even if it hadn't been said out loud yet. He didn't react. He didn't say anything. He just sat there. Finished dinner. Acted normal. Because I still didn't have proof. And without proof, you hesitate. You question yourself. You wonder if you're overthinking. If you're seeing something that isn't there. But deep down, he knew. This wasn't nothing. This wasn't a coincidence. This wasn't harmless. This was something building. Something real. And I was standing right in the middle of it, trying to decide whether to face it. Or keep pretending it didn't exist. And that's the hardest part. Not the truth. Not the betrayal. But the moment before it. When you know something is wrong, but you're not ready to confirm it. Because once you do, everything changes. And there is no going back. After that night, I stopped trying to convince myself everything was fine. Because it wasn't. And pretending it was only making it worse. I didn't want to confront them. Not yet. Because I didn't have proof. And without proof, I knew exactly what would happen. They deny it. Explain it away. Make me feel like I was overreacting. Like I was the problem. And I wasn't going to put myself in that position. Not again. So instead of reacting, I started observing. Carefully. Quietly. Without changing anything on the outside. He still acted the same. He still talked to them. He still sat with them. He still followed the routine. But inside, everything had changed. He was paying attention now. To timing. To behavior. To details I had ignored before. The first thing I focused on was Jason's schedule. When he left. When he came home. How he moved through the house. At first, it seemed normal. But when I really watched, there were patterns. He came home earlier on certain days. Days when Megan was more active. Days when she stayed out of her room. Days when she seemed prepared. Like she knew. And that thought, it didn't feel random anymore. It felt connected. Then I paid attention to their interactions. Not just what they said. But how they said it. Tone. Timing. Body language. The pauses. The glances. The small moments in between. And the more I watched, the more consistent it became. They were comfortable. So comfortable. In ways that don't happen overnight. In ways that don't happen accidentally. This wasn't new. This had been building. For a while. And I was just now seeing it. He started testing small things. Not obvious. Not confrontational. Just enough to see their reactions. They mentioned something to Megan, a detail. Something personal. Then later. They bring it up around Jason. And watch. Sometimes, he already knew. Before I said it. And that told me everything. They were talking. Without me. More than I realized. Then I changed my routine. Just slightly. Coming home a little earlier. A little later. Unpredictable. And those changes, they revealed things. Moments where they weren't expecting me. Moments where the energy in the room shifted too quickly. Though suddenly. Like they had to adjust. Like they had to reset. Because I had walked in. At the wrong time. There was one night I couldn't ignore. I woke up around 2 de la mañana. No reason. Just whack. The room was quiet. But something felt off. I reached over, Jason wasn't there. At first, I thought maybe he went to the bathroom. But minutes passed. And he didn't come back. So I got up. Walked out. Slowly. Quietly. The house was dark. But there was light. Coming from the end of the hallway. The guest room. Megan's room. He stopped. Not because I was afraid. But because something inside me already knew. He didn't move closer. He didn't open the door. He just stood there. Listening. And I heard it. A voice. Low. Soft. Careful. Ten anoter. Just as quiet. Just as controlled. I couldn't make out the words. But I didn't need to. Because it wasn't what they were saying. It was how they were saying it. That tone, it wasn't casual. It wasn't friendly. It wasn't normal. It was something else. Something more private. More intentional. Like they didn't want to be heard. And that was enough. He stepped back. Went to the bedroom. Closed the door. Sat on the edge of the bed. And just fixed her. Because at that point, I didn't need proof anymore. He needed confirmation. And I was getting closer. The next morning, everything looked the same. They acted normal. Talked normally. Moved normally. Like nothing had happened. And that was the clearest sign of all. Because people who have nothing to hide don't need to act. They just are. But this felt practiced. Controlled. Like a routine they had already built. And I was just now noticing it. That's when I made a decision. He wasn't going to confront them blindly. He wasn't going to guess. He wasn't going to ask questions they could avoid. He was going to find the truth. Clearly. Completely. In a way they couldn't deny. Because whatever this was, it wasn't small. It wasn't accidental. And it wasn't going to stop on its own. So I stopped waiting. And started preparing. Because I knew, the next time I faced them, he wouldn't be asking. They already know. After that night, he stopped needing explanations. He stopped trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Because at some point, you don't need more signs. You just need to face what's already there. Still. He wanted to be sure. Not for them. For me. So I waited. Not long. Just enough. Enough for them to get comfortable again. Enough for them to think nothing had changed. Because people only slip when they feel safe. And they felt safe. That's what made this easier. And harder at the same time. It happened 3 days later. A normal day. Nothing unusual. He left for work in the morning. Same routine. Same would-be. Nothing different. At least on the surface. But inside. He had already decided. He wasn't going to follow my normal schedule. He wasn't going to come home when they expected me. He needed one moment. One clear moment. Without warning. So around mid-afternoon, I left work early. Didn't text. Didn't call. Just drove home. The entire drive. He felt calm. Not nervous. Not anxious. Just focused. Like everything had already been decided. And I was just about to confirm it. He pulled into the driveway. The house looked the same. Quiet. Still. Normal. But I knew better now. He walked to the door. And locked it. Slowly. Carefully. Not trying to be silent. But not making noise either. Just neutral. He stepped inside. And immediately, I felt it. That shift. That difference in the air. Not loud. Not obvious. Back there. Like something was happening, just out of sight. The living room was empty. The kitchen too. But I didn't need to check every room. Because I already knew where to go. The bedroom. Our bedroom. He walked down the hallway. Each step steady. Mature. Like I was giving myself time. Time to stop. Time to turn around. Time to avoid what I was about to see. But I didn't stop. Because at this point, avoiding it wouldn't change anything. It would only delay it. And I was done delaying. He reached the door. It wasn't fully closed. Just slightly open. Enough to see light. Enough to hear something. A sound. Soft. Familiar. Todo familiar. And in that moment, everything slowed down. Not physically. But mentally. Because this was it. The moment everything becomes real. The moment where suspicion turns into truth. And there is no going back. I pushed the door open. Just enough. And then, I saw them. Jason. And Megan. In my bed. There was no confusion. No misunderstanding. No explanation needed. Because what I saw, didn't leave room for interpretation. They weren't talking. They weren't sitting. They weren't doing anything that could be explained away. They were together. In a way that made everything clear. Instantly. Completely. They both turned. At the same time. Saw me. And froze. No one spoke. No one moved. There were no immediate excuses. No rushed explanations. Just silence. Heavy. Real. Unavoidable. And in that silence, everything connected. Every small detail. Every moment I ignored. Every sign I explained away. They all made sense. All at once. How long? That was the first thing I said. My voice didn't shake. It didn't rise. It didn't break. It was calm. Todo calm. Like I had already accepted the answer, before they gave it. They didn't respond. They looked at each other. Then back at me. And that hesitation, that single moment, told me more than any words could. Tell me the truth. He said it again. Slowly. Clearly. And this time, Megan spoke. It wasn't planned. Not what I asked. Not what I needed. But exactly what I expected. Avoidance. Deflection. Control. Jason stepped in, it just happened. That line. Again. Like betrayal is something that just appears. Like it isn't built. Like it isn't chosen. Over and over again. And in that moment, something inside me shifted. Not my heart. Not my emotions. Something deeper. Clarity. Because I realized, they weren't going to tell me the truth. Not fully. Not honestly. They were going to give me pieces. Versions. Excuses. Anything but reality. But I didn't need them to explain it. He had already seen enough. He had already understood everything. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a moment. This wasn't something that just happened. This was something they allowed. Something they continued. Something they chose. Knowing exactly what it would do. And still doing it anyway. And that realization, it didn't break me. It grounded me. Because now, there was no confusion. No doubt. No questions left. Just truth. Clear. Sharp. Final. And once you see something like that, you don't need anything else. Because everything you thought you had, is already gone. And all that's left is what you're going to do next. For a moment, no one moved. No one spoke. It was like everything had stopped, except me. Because inside Everything was breaking. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just collapsing. Layer by layer. He was still standing there. Looking at them. But I wasn't there really. Seeing them anymore. He was seeing everything behind it. Every moment. Every sign. Every detail I ignored. Replying. Over and over again. With a different meaning now. A clearer one. A darker one. How long? He asked again. This time softer. Not because I was calm. But because I already knew the answer would hurt. And this time. Chason answered. A while. A while. That's what he said. Like it was nothing. Like it didn't matter. Like it didn't carry weight. But in my head, that phrase expanded instantly. A while meant weeks. Months. Conversations. Moments. Choices. Repeated. Deliberate. Not accidental. Never accidental. He looked at Megan. Really looked at her. Not as my best friend. Not as the person I trusted for years. Just as her. And suddenly, she felt like a stranger. Someone I didn't know. Someone I had never known. You stayed in my house, I said it slowly. Trying to keep my voice steady. Sat with me, talked to me, laughed with me. I paused. Because saying it out loud made it real. While this was happening, she didn't answer. She couldn't. Because there was no version of this that made sense. No explanation that didn't sound like a lie. I didn't mean for this to happen. That's what she said. Quiet. Checking. But those words, they didn't land. Because meaning don't matter. When the action is already done. And repeated. He turned to Jason. And you? He looked at me. But not fully. Not directly. Like he couldn't hold it. Like he didn't want to face it. I didn't plan it. Another version of the same excuse. Different words. Same meaning. No responsibility. No ownership. Just avoidance. And that's when it hit me. Not the betrayal. That had already happened. What hit me was something else. They didn't understand what they had done. Not really. They understood they got caught. They understood I saw it. But they didn't understand the damage. The depth of it. The fact that this wasn't just cheating. This wasn't just a mistake. This was trust. Broken in two directions. At the same time. And that's what made it unbearable. Because it wasn't one person. It was both. Together. Choosing each other over me. Over and over again. And suddenly. The emotion came. Not slowly. Not controlled. All at once. My chest tightened. My breathing changed. My hands started shaking. And before I could stop it, tears came. Not quiet tears. Not subtle. They came hard. Sharp. Uncontrollable. Because this wasn't just pain. It was realization. Realization that everything I believed wasn't real. That the people I trusted the most were the ones who broke me. And the worst part? He had let them. Not intentionally. But completely. He stepped back. Physically. Like I needed distance. Like the space between us mattered now. Like I needed to separate myself from what I was seeing. I trusted you. He said it. Not as an accusation. Not as a question. Just a fact. And neither of them responded. Because they couldn't. There was nothing left to say. Nothing that would fix it. Nothing that would change it. Megan started crying. Soft at first. Then harder. But it didn't reach me. It didn't affect me. Because whatever connection we had, it was gone. Completely. And in its place, there was something else. Clarity. Cold. Sharp. Un emocional. He understood everything now. The patterns. The timing. The looks. The silence. I love it. It wasn't random. It wasn't harmless. It wasn't nothing. It was something. Something real. Something intentional. And I had been standing in the middle of it, pretending it wasn't there. But not anymore. Because once you see the truth, you don't go back. You don't pretend. You don't try to fix something that was never real in the way you thought it was. He wiped my tears. Slowly. Took a breath. And looked at them again. Not with emotion. Not with anger. But with something else. Finality. Because in that moment, I wasn't asking questions anymore. He wasn't looking for answers. He already had them. And now, the only thing left was what I was going to do next. After that moment, he didn't stay. Not in that room. Not in that version of my life. He turned. Walked out. Closed the door behind me. And for the first time, he chose not to react. Not because I didn't feel anything. But because I felt too much. Too much anger. Too much pain. Too much clarity. And I knew, if I let any of that take over, he would lose control. And I wasn't going to give them that. Not after everything they had already taken. So I stepped away. Not just physically. Mentally. Emotionally. Completely. He walked into the living room. Sat. Down. And just breathed. Slow. Controlled. Like I was trying to stabilize something inside me, before it broke completely. Behind that closed door, he could hear movement. Voices. Low. Uneven. Panic. But I didn't go back. He didn't listen. Because whatever they were saying now, didn't matter. It was already too late for explanations. A few minutes later, they came out. One at a time. Careful. Uncertain. Like they didn't know what version of me they were going to face. Jason spoke first. Olivia, I didn't look at him. He didn't respond. Because I wasn't ready to engage. Not like that. Not in that state. Megan tried next. I'm so sorry, her voice shaking. But again, I said nothing. Not to punish them. Not to create tension. But because silence was the only thing I had control over. And I was holding on to it. Tightly. I didn't mean for this to happen. Jason added. The same line. Different tone. Same meaning. Avoidance. Deflection. And hearing it again, it didn't hurt anymore. It just confirmed everything I already knew. This wasn't something they could explain. And I wasn't going to help them try. He stood up. Finally. Looked at them. Not with emotion. Not with anger. Just clarity. You need to leave. He said it calmly. Directly. Looking at Megan. No hesitation. No pause. And for a moment, she didn't move. Like she didn't expect that. Like she thought there would be more conversation. More teaming. More forgiveness. But there wasn't. Because some lines, once crossed, don't get another chance. This isn't something we fix. He added. Still calm. Still steady. And you don't stay here. Her eyes filled with tears. Again. But it didn't change anything. Because at this point, her emotions didn't carry weight anymore. Her actions had already defined everything. Scinadi. Slowly. quietly, and went to the guest room. Topak. Jason stayed. Of course he did. Standing there. Like he still had a place in this. Like there was still something to hold on to. We need to talk. I said it carefully. Controlled. Like he was trying to manage the situation. But I shook my head. No simple. Clear. Final. Because there was nothing to talk about. Not anymore. Not after what I had seen. I already understand. He added. And that was the truth. He didn't need details. He didn't need timelines. He didn't need excuses. Because none of that would change what happened. Or what it meant. Megan came back out. Back in Kirkhan. Eyes red. Face tense. She looked at me. Like she wanted to say something. Explain. Fix it. But she didn't. Because she couldn't. And we both knew that. She walked past me. Stopped for a second. Then kept going. The door closed behind her. And just like that, she was gone. Not just from the house. From my life. Completely. And Jason. It was still there. But everything about him felt different. Not familiar. Not close. Just distant. Like someone I used to know. Someone I used to trust. Someone I used to build a life with. But not anymore. I started to speak again. Slower this time. More careful. We can fix this. That line. Again. But this time, it didn't even register as something real. Because there was nothing left to fix. There was no this anymore. Only what remained. And what remained wasn't a relationship. It was a situation. One I was about to leave. I'm not doing this. He said quietly. Looking at him. Fully. For the first time since everything happened. Not angry. Not emotional. Just done. And that's when it changed. Not for him. For me. Because in that moment, I wasn't reacting anymore. I wasn't hurt. I wasn't confused. I wasn't trying to understand. He was deciding. And that shift, it matters. Because once you move from emotion to decision, everything becomes clear. And for the first time since I walked into that room, I knew exactly what I was going to do next. Not out of anger. Not out of pain. But out of reality. And reality was something I could no longer ignore. By the time I spoke again, he wasn't emotional anymore. Not in the way they expected. There was no anger. No yelling. No need to prove anything. Because I had already seen everything I needed to see. And once you see the truth clearly, you stop reacting. You start deciding. Jason was still standing there. Watching me. Trying to figure out what I was going to do. What I was going to say. But there was nothing unpredictable left. Everything was already decided. We're done. He said it simply. No pause. No hesitation. Just clear. For a second, he didn't respond. Like the words hadn't fully reached him yet. Then his expression changed. Not shock. Not exactly. More like resistance. You don't mean that. That's what he said. Like this was temporary. Like this was something emotional. Like I would calm down. Change my mind. Come back to him. And that told me everything. I still didn't understand. Not really. Ido. He held his gaze. Steady. Calm. This isn't something we fix. This isn't a mistake. This is a choice. And for the first time, he didn't interrupt. Because there was nothing to argue with. Nothing to twist. Nothing to explain. You made it. He added. And you kept making it. That part mattered. Because this wasn't their one moment. This wasn't their one decision. This was repeated. Ongoing. Deliberate. And I needed him to understand that. Not for closure. But for reality. A looked down. Ran his hand through his hair. Like he was trying to process it. Or maybe trying to find the right words. We can work through this. A said it slower this time. More carefully. Like changing the tone would change the meaning. But it didn't. Because the meaning was already empty. There was nothing left to work through. Nothing left to rebuild. Because what we had was already gone. Before I even walked into that room. I'm not interested in fixing something that's already broken. He said it without emotion. Not to hurt him. Not to punish him. Just to state the truth. And that's when it shifted again. His tone. His posture. The way he looked at me. Less controlled. More arrogant. What are you saying? Now he needed clarity. Now he needed confirmation. Because it was real. Finally. I'm leaving. Simple. Direct. Final. And this time, it landed. Completely. You're overreacting. That came next. Of course it did. Because when people lose control, they try to regain it. By minimizing. By shifting blame. By changing the narrative. But I didn't react. Because I had already moved past that. I'm not. He said quietly. Looking at him. Calm. Un second. I'm responding. And that difference, it matters. Because reacting is emotional. Temporary. Unstable. Responding is intentional. Final. And I was done reacting. He had been reacting for days. Inside my head. Inside my emotions. But now, I was done. Ibe already thought about this. He continued. Everything. Not in detail. Not explaining. Just enough for him to understand, this wasn't impulsive. This wasn't sudden. This was considered. And that made it harder to argue with. He stepped closer. Slightly. Not aggressively. But enough. Like he was trying to reconnect. Reclaim something. We can fix this. Again. The same line. The same idea. But at this point, it didn't even sound real anymore. It sounded like something he needed to say. Not something he believed. Because deep down, he knew. Just like I did. There was no fixing this. There was only ending it. I'm not staying in something like this. He said it clearly. No hesitation. No second meaning. Just truth. And for a moment, there was silence. Real silence. Not the kind that hides things. The kind that accepts them. Because there was nothing left to argue. Nothing left to defend. Nothing left to say. He looked at me. Finally. Fully. And maybe, that's when it hit him. Not what he did. But what it cost him. Because losing something feels different when it's real. When it's final. When there is nothing you can do to change it. And this was that moment. Not dramatic. Not explosive. Just clear. Define. Over. I'm going to pack a few things. He said. Turning slightly. Already moving forward. Because I wasn't staying in that space anymore. Not physically. Not emotionally. Not in any way. And that's when I realized something. This wasn't about them anymore. It wasn't about what they did. Or why they did it. It was about me. What I accepted. What I allowed. what I chose next. And for the first time, I wasn't choosing based on love, or history, or comfort. I was choosing based on reality. And reality was something I could no longer ignore. After I left that room, everything changed. Not all at once. Not in some dramatic way. Just quietly. Step by step. Like my life was resetting itself, without asking me first. That night, I didn't stay. I packed a small bag. Just the essentials. Clothes. Documents. A few personal things. Nothing sentimental. Nothing that held memories. Because at that point, memories felt heavy. And I wasn't ready to carry them. I left the house without saying much. No long goodbye. No final conversation. Because everything that needed to be said had already been said. Or seen. And once something is that clear, words don't add anything. They just repeat what you already know. The first few days were estrange. Not painful in the way I expected. Not explosive. Just unfamiliar. Quiet in a different way. I stayed with a friend. Someone outside of that circle. Someone who didn't know the details. And that helped. Because I didn't want to explain everything. Not yet. I just needed space. Time. Distance. From them. From that house. From that version of my life. And in that space, something started to shift. At first, it was small. Walking up without tension. Without that feeling that something was off. That something didn't make sense. Because before, even when I didn't fully understand it, I felt it. That discomfort. That quiet imbalance. And now, it was gone. Not replaced. Just gone. And I realized something. They always feel like relief at first. Sometimes it just feels unfamiliar. Because you're so used to carrying something, that when it's gone, you don't know what to do with the space. So I sat with it. Didn't they rush to fill it? Didn't they try to distract myself? I just existed in it. And slowly, it started to feel lighter. Clearer. More real. Jason tried to reach out. Of course he did. Mensajes. Calls. Voicemails. At first, they were simple. Can we talk? I'm sorry. I didn't mean for this to happen. Then they became longer. More emotional. More urgent. I miss you. I made a mistake. I want to fix this. But I didn't respond. Not once. Because I had already moved past that point. Not emotionally. But mentally. I had already made the decision. And going back to those conversations, wouldn't change anything. It would just reopen something I had already closed. And I wasn't going to do that. Megan reached out too. Once. A long message. Apologies. Explanations. I didn't plan it. I didn't want to hurt you. I feel terrible. And maybe she did. Maybe she meant every word. But it didn't matter. Because regret don't erase action. And intention don't undo impact. So I didn't respond to her either. Because there was nothing left between us. Not friendship. Not trust. Not even understanding. Just distance. Permanent. And over time, reality started catching up with them. Not in a dramatic way. Not like some kind of instant karma. Just consequences. The kind that show up slowly. But stay. I heard things. Through mutual connections. Not details. Just enough. Jason wasn't doing well. Work was affected. His routine was off. It was distracted. Disconnected. And that made sense. Because once something breaks internally, it shows externally. Eventually. Megan. She lost more than she expected. Not just me. Bad stability. Trust. The place she thought she had. Because situations like that, they don't build something real. They expose something fragile. And fragile things don't last. But none of that gave me satisfaction. None of it felt like revenge. Because I wasn't there looking for that. I wasn't there watching them. I wasn't there waiting for them to fall apart. I had already stepped out of that. Completely. And that's what changed everything. Because for the first time, my life wasn't there connected to theirs anymore. Not emotionally. Not mentally. Not in any way. And that freedom, it didn't they feel dramatic. It felt quiet. Stable. Like something I hadn't they had in a long time. I started rebuilding. Slowly. Not rushing. Not trying to replace anything. Just focusing on what felt real. My routine. My work. My thoughts. My boundaries. And the more I focused on that, the less they mattered. Not because I forgot, but because they became irrelevant. A part of my past. Not my present. Not my future. And that shift, it was important. Because it wasn't about moving on quickly. It was about moving on completely. Without holding on to anger. Without needing closure from them. Without waiting for anything to change. Because everything had already changed. The moment I walked away. And once you make that choice, fully. Clearly. Without hesitation, there is nothing left to go back to. Only forward. And for the first time in a long time. Forward felt real. Not forced. Not uncertain. Just meaning. If you had asked me before all of this, I would have told you, trust is built over time. That loyalty is something you earn. That the people closest to you are the ones you never have to question. And I believe that. Completely. Without hesitation. I believe that if someone had been in your life long enough, if they knew you well enough, if they had shared enough with you, they wouldn't hurt you like that. But now, I understand something very different. Time doesn't guarantee loyalty. Closeness doesn't guarantee respect. And history doesn't protect you from betrayal. Because people don't reveal who they are when things are easy. They reveal it in the choices they make. When they think no one is watching. And that's what this was. A series of choices. Not one moment. Not one mistake. But repeated decisions. Made quietly. Made consistently. Made without me. And that's what changed everything. Not just what they did. But what it meant. Because it forced me to see something I had avoided for a long time. I didn't just trust them. I trusted without boundaries. I believed without questioning. I gave access to my life, without ever asking if it was deserved. And that's not strength. That's vulnerability without protection. But I don't regret it. Because trusting people isn't the problem. Trusting the wrong people, without limits, is. And sometimes, you don't know the difference until it's too late. Until something breaks. Until something forces you to see clearly. And for me, that moment was walking into that room. Seeing them. Understanding everything. All at once. That moment didn't just end something. It revealed something. It showed me what was real. And what wasn't it. And once you see that kind of truth, you can't go back to the version of yourself that didn't know. You change. Not dramatically. Not loudly. But fundamentally. In the way you see people. In the way you trust. In the way you protect yourself. I don't hate them. I don't carry anger. Because anger keeps you connected. And I don't want that connection anymore. What I feel instead is distance. Clarity. Closure. Because I don't need them to understand what they did. I don't need better apologies. I don't need explanations that make it easier to accept. I already accepted it. The moment I chose to leave. And that choice, that was the turning point. Not the betrayal. Not the discovery. But the decision. To walk away. To stop trying to fix something that wasn't their mine to fix. To stop holding on to something that had already let me go. That's where everything changed. And looking back now, I don't see it as losing everything. I see it as losing what was never truly mine. Because something real doesn't disappear like that. Something real don't break that easily. And if it does, then it wasn't real in the way you thought it was. And that's a hard truth. But it's also a freeing one. Because once you accept that, you stop chasing answers. You stop replaying moments. You stop asking why. And you start moving forward. Without weight. Without confusion. Without doubt. I trusted my best friend. I trusted my husband. And they broke that trust. But they didn't break me. Because in the end, I didn't stay where I wasn't respected. I didn't fight for something that had already fallen apart. I didn't ignore what I saw, just to keep what I had. I chose something else. I chose myself. And that choice. That's what made the difference. So if you're listening to this, and something in your life don't feel right, don't ignore it. Don't explain it away. Don't convince yourself it's nothing, just because facing it is uncomfortable. Because the truth is, you already feel it. You just haven't accepted it yet. And when you do, it will hurt. It will change everything. But it will also show you exactly where you need to go next. And sometimes, that's the only clarity you need.